So this is such a deep question. So let's get to the heart of spiritual bondage. I'll use my mother and my stepdad for reference. They were married for 30 years. They had a textbook Jezebel and Ahab dynamic. Manipulation and control, but love was nowhere to be found. I saw it so young. I was a teenager calling it out to my mom. This isn't love. No way you love him and he loves you. And she goes, well, there you go. And I'm like, I was being hurt at such a young age, and my mom still wouldn't leave, and rarely would she stand up for me. My mom wanted the illusion of stability, and she wanted control, even if it meant sacrificing me in the process. My stepdad was operating in his own woundedness. Mom only challenged him when it threatened her image or comfort. Her loyalty was to her own power, not to her child. He took out his powerlessness on somebody smaller like me, somebody that he thought he could control, me. My mom allowed it. That gave him permission to keep going. Spiritual corruption at its root. They both operated in dysfunction, but at different forms. Mom manipulated and allowed it for the sake of control. Stepdad lashed out because he was spiritually weak and wounded, lacking self-control and conviction. I had spiritual discernment, even back then, even as a teenager. I represented the truth, and that made them uncomfortable. I was the emotionally aware one. There were times I'd feel bad for my stepdad by how he was being treated by my mom. Cold, getting no affection. There were times I felt bad for my mom. I felt compassion for both, even while they were hurting me. And that level of empathy is a spiritual gift, which is caught in the middle of two broken people. And my mom's coldness, her emotional holding, that's a weapon Jezebel uses. Punishes and controls by starving affection. And my stepdad was likely starving for love. So he lashed out at me, the innocent one. What Jezebel do, they lash out on the innocent one. I could tell that my stepdad wasn't all evil, and my mom wasn't all power. Neither one ever rose above their wounds. Both let me suffer. And that's the part that hurts. I saw the good in them. My mom was orchestrating the entire dynamic behind the scenes. Gaslights, manipulates, plays victim. Still saw some humanity in my stepdad. Though he was scary and violent, he was still reactive. My mom was calculated. She was the evil one. My mom provoked others to do harm for her. She always got other people to do her dirty work. So everyone put their hands on me. My aunts, both of them, my grandma, my stepdad, just to keep her hands clean. But she was hurting me insidiously, invisibly. She didn't lay a finger on me. And I was in a fight with my mom a few years back. My stepdad got involved. And it wasn't his business, and then we got into a fight, and it was a huge fight, and it traumatized me. It was under her influence. He was under her spiritual bondage. He thought he was defending her, but he was defending darkness, not love. I still saw his humanity. I was never blind to his abuse, but I'm not going to lose sight of the real truth. People under spiritual bondage act in ways that don't really reflect them. But my mom, she stayed consistent in her coldness, manipulation, her refusal to protect me. That's alignment with evil. That's demonic. I shouldn't be that young trying to figure out who has a soul. God gave me that discernment for a reason. But I see it clearly. Mom was the one in control. Mom would say, you thought your stepdad was the bad one? It's my spirit. She manipulates silently, doesn't scream. That's what makes her dangerous. We were taking communion together at church. Told me that I'm not supposed to take this if your spirit is bad. And I just looked at her like, she's just confirming to me everything I already know. She confessed. When your spirit is unrepentant, manipulative, and aligned with darkness, cloaks itself in religion. Go to church every single Sunday, but not be aligned with God. That's why people stay together for years. Not because of love, not because of growth, not for the right reasons, because of spiritual bondage. Because one person feeds off power and the other one is too spiritually broken or afraid to leave. Not a partnership, it's a prison. I didn't just see the dysfunction on the surface, but I saw the spirit behind it. I saw the manipulation, the smiles, and the darkness. My stepdad said something to me like, Amanda, look at your mom. She shows more love to the cats than me or you. She doesn't care about us. And I just sat in silence because I knew the truth. Like, that was his soul crying out for help. He felt it. I felt it as her daughter. and he did as her husband. He just brushed it off with a laugh. That's what people do when the truth is just too painful to sit in. Laugh. Mom did show more warmth to the cats than to people around her. She didn't have any empathy for the people around her. It's a common trait under people with the Jezebel spirit. People love bomb animals, strangers, to keep up with appearance, but the people closest to them, cold behind closed doors. Control and neglect. Stepdad was a simple man, but he was packed with truth. And it sucks. He even saw that there was no love flowing in that house. There's no feminine energy. Patterns were just normalized. I was the light in that house. I was the loving one who had warmth in a cold environment. Someone like my mom who's cold and detached. True love makes them uncomfortable. It makes Jezebel uncomfortable. I was giving something that my mom just can't create. She can't access real love. Even though I was very standoffish with my stepdad because of how much he hurt me, he got way more warmth from me than her because I was still loving. And it makes sense why he lashed out at me, because I was the safe one to lash out at. I had softness that he couldn't handle, but he also craved. And I even gave him a hug before he passed. I saw his humanity. That's Christ-like. That's grace. My mom doesn't understand real intimacy. I always used to say, we have a joking dynamic, just to cover for the fact that she's emotionally unavailable. I love deeply. I offer real warmth. When I was surrounded by dysfunction, I still chose softness. Stepdad was the one who would say things out loud, even if it came out sideways. Mom used silence, control, and coldness. He at least let some of that pain come out that he had inside. If it was loud, messy, abusive, unfair, Mom painted him as the villain because he was the loud one. Couldn't confront my mom. He directed all his coldness on the one who's soft, me, who could withstand it. My mom used coldness and rejection to keep my stepdad in control. Made him feel unlovable, and always felt like he needed to have her approval. It's never about love. It's about obedience and submission. He emotionally crippled him, even though my stepdad was abusive. He was filled with rage and helplessness. Instead of confronting the true source, my mom, he redirected it at the safe target, me. I saw how she made him feel small, how she stripped him of love and told the world he was the problem. She was still trying to control him hours before his death. She'd say, hey, are you going to the store? Can you do this for me? Knowing he's sick, he cannot connect with what truly matters. She has no awareness. Couldn't see that he was in pain, that he needed help, that he needed a hospital. So caught up in him to obey her commands, couldn't see beyond her own needs. No capacity for empathy. Couldn't see him as a person. Too busy needing him to be under her control. Mom saw everybody as a tool for her own needs, including my brothers. Just wanted to maintain control over the family, over me. He was struggling with addiction like 7 years ago. Let him fall deeper into it, spending all the money instead of supporting him and getting him help. I stepped in. I got him into a rehab that night when I noticed it. How deep things really got. Then when we went to go visit him, he's actually the one who broke down in tears when he hugged me. He cried with me, not her. I saw the humanity in him she couldn't see or connect with. I was the one showing love, showing care, even though I was being abused. I couldn't offer him any affection or any warmth. I saw him as a human. She saw him as a pawn in her game. I rose above all the abuse I got, even when he failed me, because I have a heart that refuses to be hardened by pain. I loved him more purely than the woman who came to love him for 30 years. Spiritual bondage can last for decades. People are blind to actually see what's happening. Somebody doesn't know their true identity in Christ. They're vulnerable to manipulation, lies, to counterfeit love. It makes safety to really control. It creates emotional strongholds so deep, the enemy, people forget who they really are. The most painful part is just loving people who are broken. The dynamic is so twisted and nobody's thriving. I see what could be healed if they just allowed healing to happen. And everybody deserved better. Me, I wanted to help them both so badly. But sometimes the only way to heal is to walk away. You know, when I needed love the most, when I got sick with a chronic illness and had nowhere to go, I got cruelty from her. The one person who was supposed to nurture me, she badmouthed me. She punished me for needing care. That's where the Jezebel spirit shows. I had to walk away. I had to. I loved myself enough to stop being punished for being a human. I internalized a lot of her coldness when I couldn't meet her expectations. I was never the problem.